May it be simple, may it be kind. May it be easy most of the time. May it be open, may it be free. May it be you, and may it be me. May it be simple. May it be easy. Most of the time. May it be open. May it be you. May it be simple. Add some harmony.
Although many of us think of ourselves as thinking creatures that feel, biologically, we are feeling creatures that think.
May we sing often, may we sing true, may we sing stories of all we could do. May we sing something just out of the blue. Sing it for me and sing it for you.
May it be simple.
Children are invited to come forward to light candles of joys and sorrows. Let us all now rise in body or spirit and sing together, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky, number 301.
welcome each other into this place of love, inclusion, and compassion, we create sacred space together. Whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
Whomever you love.
Whomever you love.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are on your life's journey.
You are welcome here.
You are welcome here.
Whatever the color of your skin.
Whoever you are.
Or your country of origin.
Whomever you love.
Whatever your gender or the source of your faith.
Wherever you are on your life's journey.
Whoever you are.
You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
We will now light our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Blessed is the fire of our faith and the chalice of our community.
Blessed is the living tradition that is carried forward in our work and in our love.
Blessed is the transient flame we kindle here.
Blessed is the illuminated moment of our gathering.
Blessed is the light of the eternal.
Blessed is the sacred call of life to which we give ourselves in answer.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Amanda Almond. My daughter Charlie and husband Anthony are members of this great congregation. And honestly, we couldn't be prouder about it. Not in the sense that like, ooh, we go to church, look at us. We're genuinely impressed with this community. Y'all are very smart. You're very organized. You're incredibly good looking. You have, you have excellent taste in music. And the best part is you like us too, right? What a match. This congregation is one of my favorite things occurring in nature, next to birds, because birds are pretty awesome. So I was drawn here in 2018 when I was preparing to become a mother, and I knew that I wanted to find a spiritual home for our family. For some reason, it wasn't on my to-do list before then, but there was something about my body splitting its cells to make another human life that felt spiritual, and I needed to unpack that someplace. So one second Sunday in 2018, my husband and I found ourselves here with really no expectations, and we left very touched and very inspired. There was jazz. There was pie. There were people who wanted to talk to us, and we thought it was absolutely wild. But it's a discipline. We didn't become real regulars until our daughter was almost 3. She's going to be 6 in a couple of months, to give you some reference. And it was actually our daughter Charlie who gave us the nudge. I remember driving down the road one day in our neighborhood, and she goes, "Mom, I want to go to church." And I was like, "Oh, well, I know the perfect place." And the rest is history. Literally, it's on a post-it in our timeline. It's really history. So the reason that I lend my financial support and time to all of you, gosh, there are so many reasons, but I've chosen a few. I guess there's a tie for top 2. The top of my list, again, it's a tie. It's kind of badass to go to church these days, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's pretty punk rock, and I love that for me. When I say I go to church on Sunday, or I say I'll light a candle for you on Sunday, the looks I get, I enjoy it. This is my resistance, truly. So tied for second place is the music, duh, right? On 2018, that first day, I remember sight reading and singing songs out of the hymnal, and this was something I had not done in a very long time. It was a part of myself that was neglected, and I really reclaimed it here. I was very into music as a child and as a teen, playing many instruments, and being here allowed me to connect the music and myself back together, and allowed me to process a ton of emotions in these seats. Whew. Another thing that I really liked is that I remember sitting here one day and the Sunday plate was being collected to provide transportation for people who needed abortions. And I remember hearing messages from the pulpit, and everything here just aligned with my values. And it felt really good to walk the walk in an organized way, thanks to each and every one of you. I'll finish the list of amazing things by noting the love that my daughter has gotten from others here is remarkable. It's crazy. Actually, right now, she is with a group of trusted and caring women that are teaching her about how precious her body is and to articulate for its safety, like literally as I'm speaking. That is unreal. That is precious, and that is rare. Oh, right? It's not just me, right? So what keeps me coming back are just seeing the smiles and the tired hellos and good mornings from each and one of you that reassure me that I'm where I need to be. So in that spirit, please turn to each other and say good morning. Thank you.
So I have a story for you this morning, and it's called 3 Questions. And you're gonna get to figure out what those questions are as we go along. There once was a boy named Nika who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. You ever feel that way, like not entirely sure how to behave? I want to be a good person, Nika thought, but I don't always know the best way to do that. I mean, who does? We have to learn these things, right? Nika had 3 questions. 1, when is the best time to do things? 2, who is the most important one? And 3, what is the right thing to do? His friends all gave Nika suggestions, as good friends will do, but Nika still had questions. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers I'm looking for. And as Rachel said, turtles have famously long memories. So I think that Nika made a good choice to go and ask a turtle these questions. So in order to get to Leo the turtle, Nika had to climb up and hike up this really, really tall mountain where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nika arrived, he found Leo the turtle digging in the garden. Oh my goodness, the turtle was old and digging was hard for him. Nika said, I have 3 questions, and I came to ask for your help. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully and slowly, as turtles will do. Then he went on with his digging. Well, you must be tired, Nika finally said. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and said, thank you. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nika kept on digging until all of the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly, and rain burst from the darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nika suddenly heard a cry for help. Help! Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Oh no, we all need our legs, especially pandas, for climbing, right? Carefully, Nika carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. Leo, the wise old turtle, watched very carefully. The storm raged on. The panda woke up and said, "Where am I? What is this thing on my leg? And where's my baby?" Oh no, the plot thickens. Nika ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar from the storm was deafening. Rah! You've heard really loud thunder, right? Oh my gosh, he ran into the forest, and there he found the panda's child shivering on the ground. Poor little baby panda. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Whew. Nika took her home and laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. Have you ever seen a turtle smile? It's pretty cute. The next morning, the sun was warm and the birds were singing, tweet, 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 and all was well in the world. Panda's leg was healing very nicely. Pandas, I think, are a little bit like kids. They heal very quickly. Nika felt a great peace come over him. He saved the panda and her child, but he still felt kind of disappointed. I know. It's because he still had not found the answers to his 3 questions. he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. I mean, imagine that really, really old turtle giving you a look, right? He's looking at Nika. But your questions have been answered. They have? Asked the boy. Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. So the most important time was the time you spent digging in the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help with the garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby. And the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing is to do good for the one who is at your side. For these, my dear boy, said that wise, wise old turtle, are the answers to what is most important in this world. That is why we are here. Wise, wise words from that old turtle, huh? Yeah. Well, that, my friends, is the end of our story, but it's not the end of our time together. We're actually going to have the grown-ups build our rainbow arch and sing to us as we go to our classes. Let's go. Thank you.
That's Christopher McBride on the saxophone.
I feel cursed with religious and political opinions. They feel like a vortex sucking me into hypocrisy. For instance, I dislike that some people get handed more privilege than others, right? But I want to hand my own daughters every unfair advantage. Nonetheless, let's imagine we strive to match word with deed. And also imagine we don't reverse engineer highfalutin opinions to rationalize whatever. We instead seek an authentic, consistent framework to ground our opinions. Doesn't work. Our opinions stare back at us, unmoored and floating, stranding us in a nihilist ocean with no God throwing us a raft. As John Locke noted in 1690, someone observing human opinions from the outside, seeing how they conflict with one another, and yet how fondly they are embraced, and how stubbornly they are maintained, might have reason to suspect that either there isn't any such thing as truth, or that mankind isn't equipped to come to know it. We really haven't progressed since then. So, should we give up and become militantly apolitical agnostics? No, that ain't happening. We're UUs. Can we wrap our opinions with a don't overthink it disclaimer? Honestly, we say that about choosing outfits or asking someone out, never about science or engineering. Should we say it about religion and politics? Yes, actually. Because overthinking is based on a false model of what grounds these opinions, a false model of how humans are special. What makes us special is not that we're thinking things in reasoned dialogue with spiritual truths that turtles and grasshoppers can't handle. What makes us special is that our brains and our finely controlled hands and vocal cords allow us to project certain intricate movements that turtles and grasshoppers cannot. By project, I mean pointing without touching. That's it. I don't mean to trivialize religious and political opinions. Without them, First U is just a social club. They address meaning of life questions like these. Is there some absolute truth without the terms I, here, and now? If time really flows, then how should we process death? Have we some big purpose? Do we need it? No, really, do we need it? Is free will real? How's it jive with cause and effect? How do I know anything about what it's like to be you? To best achieve justice, how should we organize ourselves across the world and in this room? Those questions are hairy and entangled with one another. Religious tomes answer them on the authority of their divine author, which we skeptics challenge. So where else to find ground? Asked empirical questions like what do grasshoppers eat, we ground in observation and induction. Asked logical questions like what is the sum of a heptagon's angles, we ground in deduction. We never answer those questions with don't overthink it. But Enlightenment fantasies notwithstanding, religious and political questions feel neither empirical nor logical. Grounding the answers feels like a fool's errand. So let's shift focus from question to questioner by considering a disorder in which people cannot form political or religious opinions. The French philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty based much of his magnum opus, Phenomenology of Perception on the apraxia patient Schneider. Now, Schneider has intact vocabulary, syntax, intelligence, and reasoning, but he can't project movement. Mimic typing your name on a surface. No, seriously, do it now. You can use your hymnal. And don't type random stuff, because this won't work. Now, do that in the air, not on your hymnal. It's harder, right? The only difference is that you expect touch on your hymnal, but not in the air. And that way, we all have a mild form of Schneider's condition. Moving to touch something is the primary and easier thing. The exact same movement without expecting touch is the derivative and harder one, a projection of lived movement. Now imagine it were impossible for you to mimic typing in the air. You say, of course I can do it, and then discover to your astonished frustration that you just can't. Well, that is the condition of inability to have religious or political opinions. Schneider moves fine, as in swatting a mosquito biting him or fetching a handkerchief from his pocket, even with his eyes closed. He makes wallets, his trade before his accident. He easily touches his nose, but he can't point to it. We're going to try this one too. Touch your nose. Put your hand back down. Now just point to your nose, don't touch it. A little harder, right? For him, impossible. Raising his hand on command takes real work. He carefully watches his hand through trial and error, or he goes through whole body preparatory movements, like in method acting. Schneider understands the ask. He deliberates to fulfill it. We raise our hand effortlessly. Now for edgy stuff. Schneider must reason his way to recognizing a pen. We say that's a pen without effort. He must think through tired metaphors like head of a nail. We get it without thought. He understands numerology, but he doubles half in 2 steps, not none. He can whistle or sing, but he won't without prompting. He enjoys sex, but he won't initiate anything. He doesn't find the body erotic. His vocabulary, syntax, and intelligence are sound, but he hardly speaks unless questioned. He asks boring questions, doesn't talk hypotheticals, and gets confounded by false statements like the grass is orange. Merleau-Ponty believes all those things equivalent. We represent the world by commingling senses with our movement, so the world we perceive literally beckons us to reach out and grab it. When not touching, grabbing, or pushing, we project such movement, including vocal cord movement, that we project via languaged thoughts. This brings us to a detail from Merleau-Ponty, a mind knot for us. Schneider wants to form political and religious opinions, but he can't. Now revisit the question, how do we ground these opinions? Not with a chain of reasoning from ground truth, but instead with projections of body movement, pointing without touching. If that doesn't make sense, it's because you're using the wrong part of your body to grasp it. Yes, we need big brains and fine-tunable vocal cords to formulate these opinions. Honeybees don't argue politics, I don't think. But reason doesn't ground our opinions. For that, we need what honeybees have and Schneider doesn't. Schneider can't project movement. In contrast, apes, wolves, elephants, lions, crows, parrots, and bees do it routinely. Our highest thoughts remain anchored in our insect bodies, in our ability to point to something without touching it, Religious and political opinions may feel arbitrary, hypocritical, and a complication for our relationships. Nonetheless, having them is what our insect bodies do. So don't overthink it. Just do the best you can.
Please rise in body or spirit while we sing When the Spirit Says Do. You'll find the music and the words in your order of service. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says do. Let's sing that again. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you gotta sing, oh Lord, you gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta pray. You gotta pray when the Spirit says pray. When the Spirit says pray, you gotta pray, oh Lord, you gotta pray when the Spirit says pray.
So don't overthink it. That is a tall order for many of us Unitarian Universalists. We are famously a pretty cerebral bunch. We love intellectually stimulating sermons. So it's humbling, maybe, is the word I might use, to hear a homily about how we might be overestimating our reasoning capacity, that actually so much of what we think is a result of reason and rationality is actually predicated on our ability to project movement, that we are actually feeling our way through the world. When Amit was sharing the topic of this homily with me, it reminded me of Taoism. Don't ask me why. I do not have a reason for you. I am not overthinking it. The Tao, or if you wanted me to pronounce it correctly, it would be the Tao, but I'm not going to do that this whole time because that would feel silly. The Tao is sometimes translated as the way, not like a road, as in this way to the beach, but more like that's the way things are around here. It is not a state, but a way of being. It's all around us, in every aspect of the universe, all the time. The very first line of the Tao Te Ching says, "The Tao that can be named is not the Tao." So, according to the humans who write about the Tao, our work then is to live according to the Tao. That means to live according to the way. Whose way? Your way, your true way, not the way that other people are telling you how to live. The world is full of messages telling us how we should be. We see advertisements all the time telling us that we should be learning a new language or losing weight, that we need to buy a big truck, or that we need to drink this brand of beer. Our loved ones tell us that we should be focusing on our careers, or having kids, or getting married, or getting divorced. Every day we're faced with decisions about what to prioritize: our families, our health, our work, our time, justice. How are we supposed to know which way is the Tao? Well, there are a lot of Taoist values and virtues, but for the purposes of this talk, I'll focus on what are known as the three treasures, which are also the three major virtues of Taoism, also knowing that, as Amit said earlier, that trying to find one singular framework on which to base all of your opinions and beliefs is necessarily a futile endeavor. But the first is ci, which is usually translated as compassion. In classical Chinese, this is actually the term that is used for mother, so it carries these ideas of nurture and tenderness. This is compassion, kindness, gentleness. This virtue is about how we behave toward other people. The second is jian, which is sometimes translated as frugality, and sometimes as moderation, and sometimes as simplicity. I personally like the moderation translation. This is about not taking too much, living simply, practicing moderation in all things. Not too much, and also not too little. This virtue is about how we engage with our environment and our resources. The third is actually a full phrase, 不敢为天下先, which roughly translates to something, dare not be the first before heaven. Sometimes it gets boiled down into the word humility, which is not the worst translation because this phrase is really about hanging back, restraining yourself, not trying to be the center of attention, not always being the first to speak. This virtue is about how we think of ourselves and how we show up in the world. So we have ci, compassion, jian, moderation or simplicity, and 不敢为天下先, dare not be the first before heaven, or humility. If you learn nothing else about Taoism, these would not be bad virtues to live by. And you may already be thinking of comparisons to other religions, going, oh, that's like Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity. They also say those things. And you would be right. Many religions all over the world instruct us in how to live, and for the most part, they tend to boil down to, here are some ways to not be a jerk. Be kind to others, don't take up too much space, but also not too little, and don't go thinking that you're better than everyone else. It's not that hard. Don't overthink it. And that is actually one of the foundational teachings of Taoism right there, is simply not overthinking it. In Taoism, the goal is to get to the very essence of yourself, who you are when the world's not telling you that there's only one right way to be, who you are beyond all of the fear and the anxiety and the trauma, who you are beyond ego and selfishness, who you are when you are really and truly yourself. That part of you is also part of the Tao. That is what you're trying to get in touch with. That part of you that knows what to do. I had a traditional Chinese medicine doctor at one point tell me that she thought that cats were the closest to the Tao. They are always exactly themselves. So that part of you that knows what to do, that part of you that is really the purest essence of yourself, is good. You are good, and you already know how to be good. Just like little Nika in the wisdom story, who went all the way to ask the old wise turtle, but it turned out that he already knew how to be a good person, and he didn't have to think very hard about it. So the Tao is mysterious and complicated and unknowable. We are also mysterious and complicated and unknowable, still learning new things about ourselves all the time. I have spent a lot of time thinking about Schneider in these past few weeks and the things that he could and couldn't do, the things that were very difficult for him to do. We are merely feeling our way through the world, and yet we know the Tao when we encounter it. We know the Tao when we are living it, and when we can stop worrying about how we know when we get there. Excellent, I think, food for thought on a Jazz Sunday. So for now, let us practice relaxing and going with the flow and not overthinking it as we get back to singing and doing when the Spirit says to.
You gotta do.
when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do. Oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says do.
You gotta shout.
You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. You gotta shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says shout, you gotta shout.
You gotta move.
You gotta move when the Spirit says move. You gotta move when the Spirit says move. When the Spirit says move, you gotta move. Oh Lord, you gotta move when the Spirit says move.
You gotta dance.
You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. You gotta dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you gotta dance.
You gotta do.
You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do. Oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says
Here at First Unitarian, we have a very special tradition where we share our plate, our offering plate, every month with a different nonprofit organization. And this month's collection is being shared with our First UU Brooklyn Youth Group for their 9th annual summer service work with Big Creek People in Action in West Virginia. You can read more about that in your order of service, and our offering will now be received with gratitude.
let's take a moment now to notice our thoughts, our feelings. Just notice. No judgment. I'll keep time. Let us do the next right thing. Let us always do the next right thing. Let us do the next right thing in Palestine, in Israel, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Syria, in Sudan. Let us do the next right thing for our neighbors in our neighborhoods. Let us do the next right thing for the least of us, the poor and the imprisoned and the infirm. Let us do the next right thing for the next generation and the 7 generations after, the ones from whom we have borrowed this world. Let us do the next right thing and let it ripple outward into the interdependent web of all existence. Let us remember that we already know how to be good. We already know how to be good. Let us see past the distractions and the fear and the turbulence to remember what is good, what needs to be done, and let us work together to make it so. May it be so. In our own community, we pray for all those suffering from illness, grief, or hardship. We keep in our hearts Kay Croquette, Lee Most and his wife Yvonne Most, who is recently diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and Nancy Wolf, who is recovering from hip surgery. We pray for Jules Tramontana, who mourns the death of grandfather Raymond, for John Ashone, brother of Michelle Ashone, for Gail Lizio, sister-in-law of Laurel Lizio, who is battling cancer, and Kevin Sheth, brother of Jay Sheth, who needs healing and recovery. And now, into this sacred space, we speak out loud or add to the chat the names of other loved ones we are praying for this morning. Now we light candles of joy or sorrow. If you're watching online, please feel free to light a candle in your own home. If you feel that you need to be heard, or if there's something on your mind or heart that you would like to share, we have a space for you after the service. Edwin Lord will be in the Chapel of All Faiths to my left for anyone who needs a listening ear.
So my UU cerebral brain is a little blown right now. Thank you for that, Amit. My name is Garnet Losack. I'm the Director of Congregational Life here at First Unitarian. Welcome to those of you who are visiting us for the first or second time, and welcome to those of you who are here for the 100th or 1,000th time. I have two very special welcomes this morning. One is to the Neighboring Faiths RE class from our sister congregation in White Plains, New York, who I think is sitting over there. Welcome. And the other is to the UU Fellowship of Marietta, Ohio, who is joining us online. So everybody turn around, and I think it's that camera right there. Welcome. We're so glad that you chose to join us today. You picked a really, really good day. So I have a couple of announcements, and I'm going to tell you where we are with our stewardship campaign. This is week 2 of our stewardship campaign. So hold on for a minute on that. I'm going to give you that information in a second. The men's group is meeting this afternoon at 2:45 in the Francis White group. If you identify as a man, you're welcome to join them. This is an open group. Everybody is welcome to come at any time. The grief group will meet today at 2 p.m. in the teen room, right? In the teen room. So 2 p.m. at the teen room is the grief group. That is also an open group. So if you are feeling a loss today or feel that you need a listening ear, please join Megan in the grief group at 2 p.m. Now, stewardship campaign. Yeah, what? 12:45. Did I say 2:45? I'm sorry, 12:45. Men's group, 12:45. Thank you. So we have, Amit, actually, can I ask you to be a spokesmodel for just a minute? Just a model. You don't have to actually say anything. So if you will hold this up this way, oh, no, this way. There we go. And Lee, you can grab the star. So last week, you'll remember that we were at $90,500. Today, we are at $110,200. So that's a bigger number than the week before. And it gets us about a third of the way there. There are 4 more weeks in our stewardship campaign. We've really just started. So if you go downstairs after the worship service, Lee and Michael Dorr will be downstairs. There are big posters. And on those big posters are parties, lists of parties that you can go to. And we would really like for everyone to attend a party. There are parties all over Brooklyn. There are all different kinds of parties with all different kinds of food and different things to do at the parties. Go to them. These people are opening their homes to you. They would love to have you visit them. And at the party, you'll get a chance to share your story, to hear the stories of other people, and hopefully make your pledge for next year. Our goal for this year is $330,000. So we're about a third of the way there. We've got about 200 families who still need to put in a pledge form. So I think we'll make it. I'm optimistic. Please join us downstairs for coffee and tea and some fellowship. The connections table is open. The people there would love to get a chance to say hello to you. And I'm going to back up a little bit. If you are here for the first or second or third time and you would like to stand up and introduce yourself and tell us where you live, we would love to say hello. Is there anyone who would like to do that? Yeah, we're there in the corner. Welcome. Okay. And if you are here for the first time online, wave and say and introduce yourself to the folks online on the chat. And we would love to also wave to you and say good morning. Welcome. And now you can look at your order of service for information on more events that are happening here at First Unitarian throughout the year. But before we go downstairs, let's stand and sing together our final hymn, Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in your gray hymnal.
Love will guide us.
Love will guide us. Peace has dried us. Hope inside us. Will lead the way on the road from free to living. Love will guide us through the hard night.
If you cannot.
As we head out into a world that beckons us to reach out and grab it, let's do that with courage and without overthinking. Go in conviction, knowing we are loved and we are one.